This is Wakeangel2K1 bringing you another personal project, which took about, I'd say 45 minutes out of my day today. It is a fix to the World of Nintendo Samus figure. So here's a picture of the Samus figure in its stock form. If you saw my review that I posted yesterday, you'll know that she has limitations in her shoulder joints, in that they're just cuts up there rather than universals. And there is a bicep swivel joint where the arm connects to the shoulder armor, but there's also a bicep swivel joint at the elbow, meaning that that's just spinning meat in the middle. It doesn't really accomplish anything. So I figured, well, those shoulder pads are so huge, and why can't I just figure out a way to put the universal joints that I wanted in there myself? So that's what I set out to do. It turns out that the figure is made out of a similar kind of plastic to the Sonic figures that I'm used to working with, so all I had to do was warm her up and I could take those arms apart. It turns out it's just some kind of two-sided mushroom peg that keeps them in the shoulder joints. And then the shoulder joints themselves are attached by other mushroom pegs. So at least this part of the assembly is easy to work on. So let's see those extra joints that I'm gonna put in. Special shout out to Laylam from DeviantArt. A few months ago, my Figma pit fell off a shelf and broke a couple of his joints, and I needed to replace them. And Laylam pointed me out to a seller on eBay who had a lot of 50 extra Figma joints for a very reasonable price, like $15 or so. Although I will note that of the joints that I needed for my pit, the only one that fit his wing was yellow and not white, which was a bit of a bummer, but at least it's on his back, so I don't really see it. In that lot, however, there were these two joints. They're very big and round, and I found that their pegs fit perfectly into Samus's arms. Like, they fit very snugly in there and still swivel. That was perfect. So that means that all I had to do was find a way to get these things to stick inside of the shoulder, and I'd be golden. And so this was the big, scary, terrifying part of the project. Hollowing out the inside of her shoulder armor to make room for the Figma joint. Oh my, this required some very careful and precise dremeling with some rather small-headed Dremel tools. I just had to make a hollow space inside that shoulder armor big enough for the ball to fit. And if you look on her left shoulder, you can see how the shoulder actually pegs onto the body. This actually meant that my initial plans for how it would work changed. Let's do some little quick blueprinting to show you what I'm talking about. You see, at first I was thinking I would put the joint in like this. Part of it will go into Samus's torso, and then it will come out underneath the the ball shoulder pad thingy, and that's how it would connect. But then I found out that Samus's torso is actually made out of a harder plastic, one that doesn't yield to simply being warmed up and stretched. In addition, the mushroom cap wasn't in the armor itself, but it was the armor. The shoulder armor had the hole, and the mushroom peg was sticking out of the torso. So I had to revise my plan slightly. So the joint goes in this way. Fortunately, the shoulder pad is huge enough that the whole thing could just go up into it like this, so I could still do the outward movement. I didn't need to use the Figma joint for forward movements because that's what the cut in the shoulder already accomplished. So this is just giving her the outward movements of the shoulder joint while I'm letting the original point of articulation do the job of the forward and backward swinging. Returning to that stock photo of the original Samus as she was when she was stock, notice that the way the arm connects to the shoulder pad, it's kind of like going outward slightly at the bicep, so you kind of have to bend her elbows inward to make her arms hang naturally at her sides. But with my new universal shoulder joint fix, she can set her arms right down by her side so she looks exactly as she does when you step into the save booth. You can also make her arms go outwards because, she might want to do that. If you take a look at the stock Samus figure, one of her big flaws was when you tried to hold her, move her arm forward so she could point her gun. Because of the way the shoulder was attached, it would always look like she was shooting it slightly inwards. Like it was, go inwards towards the center of her chest. Now that she has a universal shoulder joint there, she can point the gun straight ahead or off to her right, which is a more natural firing position for her, because it's more natural for you to hold your gun arm out away from you rather than point it across your own chest, you know? Okay, so that is my improvement of the Samus figure. When I fixed the Link figure, it took an X-Acto knife in 5 seconds. This took a terrifying session with a Dremel and almost an hour of my time. Plus 2 relatively difficult to get pieces. But still, I accomplished it. This is Wakeangel2K1 signing off. I gotta finish that Mighty.